I think I'm just gonna stop there.
Okay. Damn it. Okay, we're gonna switch gears. Let's start with your name.
My name is June Ballesteros. My profession is a registered nurse. I moved to Canada when I was 5. I moved here with my mom, and we were brought here or sponsored by my grandma.
Do you remember living in the Philippines?
I don't remember living in the Philippines. I think my earliest memory of moving here was maybe 7 or 8 years old and being with my babysitters and staying at their place while my mom was at work.
How was it growing up in Canada as a young immigrant?
So growing up in Canada as a young immigrant, I remember feeling different, and I remember feeling awkward, and I remember wanting to look like my white classmates. I wanted blonde hair. I wanted to be taller. I wanted normal lunches. I don't remember, I don't have specific memories, but I do remember feeling different. I think my fears were instilled by my parent, which would be tripping and ripping a hole in my stocking and getting in trouble for ripping a hole in my stocking, fear of getting lost, fear of not having any friends. So I'm not sure if that is related to just regular childhood fears or if that is related to being Filipino and growing up in Canada as a Filipino.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting. You said you were scared of tripping and getting a hole in your stocking. Why were you scared of that?
Because my mom, if I got dirty or if I got holes in my clothing or if I lost any clothing, I'd get in trouble. I'd get a smack bum, as it was called, or pamalo. Yeah.
Follow?
Yeah, or palo, yes.
Where do you think that comes from?
Our Filipino culture, I think that our parents are trying to raise us as being obedient, and that was a big part of it. And maybe, now that I think back, maybe it was that we didn't have that much money growing up, and now I've ruined another pair of jeans, or I really don't know. But I do think that a lot of that comes from our culture of wanting to raise an obedient child.
And like maintain
And
an
proper,
image?
yes.
What is your cultural identity today? Do you see yourself as more Filipino or Canadian? Both? Neither?
I would answer that I am Filipino. However, I do identify more with my Canadian culture than I do with my Filipino culture. And I am really sad about that, because as I have gotten older, I have felt very disconnected. I feel more disconnected from my Filipino heritage, and I have also felt this great need to wanting to reconnect with that.
Do you think you have to disconnect from one culture to feel in good standing with another and live in another?
I don't think that you have to disconnect from one culture to assimilate with another, but I do think that that is all based on the individual and the neighborhood they move into and if they have moved by themselves versus as with their family. So I don't think that you have to. On the other hand, I could understand if someone did feel the need to do that.
To disconnect from their one culture to assimilate to another.
Yeah, because I think as immigrants, we move to a country with the goal to assimilate, or our parents with the goal have that goal to assimilate, so that we can receive better education, better housing, just more opportunities. And unfortunately, I think in this climate that sometimes we have to let go of some of our cultural identity to move forward with the opportunities that are presented in your new life, in your new country.
Do you speak Tagalog?
I don't speak Tagalog. I understand Tagalog. So my mom and my stepdad, they would speak Tagalog in the house, and they would also talk to me sometimes in Tagalog. So I understand Tagalog. However, I found if I'm on the SkyTrain, or if I'm around a family or a group of Filipinos and they're talking back and forth and they're excited and it gets faster and louder, I don't understand. So it has to be quite maybe in a slower pace and more deliberate, and then I can understand.
So you were born in the Philippines. There was a time where you spoke fluently.
Yes, I believe so, that I did speak fluent Tagalog when I was in the Philippines, but my mom tells me that a lot of the schools in the Philippines actually are instructed in English because English is such a widespread language, but like throughout the world, that they want you to have that and to learn English.
Right. How has your cultural identity evolved over the years?
My cultural identity has evolved over the years. When I was little, as a teenager and even in my early 20s, it wasn't something that I gave any thought to be honest. And when I went to university, in nursing school to be an RN, it was then that it really started to shift for me, where I felt a sense of emptiness and a real sense of trying to reconnect with my heritage. And I didn't know what that looked like, and I truly still don't. But it was just really then that, so probably in my late 20s, where I was really starting to ask more questions and really trying to think about what I wanted moving forward and what that would look like.